This student could have written a brilliant writing, but instead there are 5 mistakes this student makes that ruins and destroys this writing. These mistakes, unfortunately, are made by a lot of you. I'm going to show you step by step what is happening here and how we can fix these errors in your writing if you're doing the same things. And we'll see how this becomes from a terrible score to the best score, and you want to stay tuned to see exactly how nicely this improves. Let's get started. We are looking at a CELPIP Writing Task 2 question. Now, for me, I look at things and I'm like, okay, this is the problem. I can see it from the first glance because I've been doing this for 15 years. And I see there is a lot of words. When I count it with the word counter, it's 201. The first question you should ask yourself is that a problem? Because your limit is 200. This is 201. What happens? Well, you're allowed up to 210. That's the good news. So this is okay, completely fine. If you're doing more than 210, you're risking losing your marks. Lower than 150, you're risking losing your marks. But the ideal length is 180 to 190. If you're writing right there, you're doing a very good attempt, just so you know. If you do even below 160, 160 is allowed because they say 150 to 200 words. So what if you do 160? I'm telling you, a lot of those people who write 160-ish words, they get less marks because you cannot explain enough things in 160 words. You can try, maybe you can, but most likely you won't be able to. So 180 to 190 is a really good spot, and we'll talk about a place here where you could have done lesser words. Again, this is a student attempt, but I picked this because he's doing so many things that you guys do routinely, and there are 5 major sins he is committing. Let's get started. The first paragraph is saying the debate regarding the library is considering improvements like a technology hub or a quiet study area has generated substantial discourse. Let me tell you, the whole thing is full of grammar mistakes. We're not going to discuss that today because this is not a grammar lesson and it's going to take a lot of time. But when you are proofreading, let's say you have 30 seconds to proofread. The most important place you have to proofread is the very first paragraph. Remember, CELPIP is not marked by an AI, it's marked by a human. Humans think differently. Now, the CELPIP examiners are highly accurate, but you have to create a good first impression. If you are giving them mistakes right away in the first paragraph, there's a pattern that you might be repeating later on, and we don't want to give them the clue. Give them a good first impression by fixing all the grammar mistakes here. Quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, we are doing our giveaways again. Lucky winners will be chosen. All you got to do is comment down below, like this video, and you'll get access to our free CELPIP AI-driven mock tests for all 4 modules. Comment down below, like the video. Now, let's get back to the lesson. So we'll just discuss the ones in the first paragraph. The debate regarding the library is concerning the improvements, not considering, because considering literally means thinking, but concerning is concerning this and that, 2 things. Improvements like, you can say such as, because like is a basic word. Technology hub or a quiet study area is concerning this and that has. So you want to put and that has because it's a very long sentence. One is it's concerning these 2 things, then and that has generated substantial discourse. Now it's better. Next sentence, undoubtedly a technology hub is a much more suitable alternative. What do you guys think about this? This is good because this is your thesis sentence, and we just need spacebar here to just get rid of the red. The thesis sentence should just give your opinion, and if you can add some reasons like due to economic reasons, due to political reasons, ethical reasons, whatever, it's even better, but this is good. So you have done your general sentence and you have done your opinion, structure-wise, perfect. Then you move on to your points. That's good. The only problem here was the grammar mistakes, and we cannot afford that because we need a good first impression. Okay, let's get to the points. The student says, unquestionably, really good connector. It's unique and it's not cliche like to begin with or on the one hand. It's advanced. It's nice. Libraries, L should be small. With high-speed internet and modern computers. This is where another major mistake is happening. Keep reading. Computers provide patrons with access to digital resources, online database, ebooks, and other educational tools. We have a laundry list of things here. A list like this is never going to be appreciated. It is seen as an attempt by you to do more words without really giving your own version or your own explanations. And none of these add value. I mean, this is not an idiomatic expression. It's not a complex sentence. It's not a range of vocab. It's just a bunch of words being thrown in a list. Always avoid listing things. Can we compress all of this in one thing? I mean, it's digital, online, and all that stuff. What if I say vast amount of digital resources? That could work, right? Now, I can write that right now, but it is still too general. We have to be specific when it comes to the body paragraph points. So the student later talks about research, basically. That's what I got at. I felt that that is the idea the student wanted to communicate. So put that word right here. That's the word you need immediately. Modern computers provide patrons with access to dedicated researching abilities. Let's do that. Researching abilities. With high student provide patrons with access to dedicated researching abilities. There we go. Now it's specific, and now I can build on this idea in the next sentence. But let's see what the actual next sentence was. This setup enhances research capabilities, promotes digital literacy, and offers a more interactive learning experience for visitors. All of this needs to go away because all of this is, once again, what? It's a list. You should never do a laundry list. And stay tuned because there's something similar the student does at the start of the next paragraph that I'm going to say you should never do. So these are big nevers. Never make a list without explanation. Always pick one thing and explain that instead of doing many things and not explaining any of those. So if we're talking about research abilities and we're saying libraries will provide that, we can say we have to define the why and how, like why this is going to work, how this is going to work. We can say students and faculty will be able to research on a plethora of topics given the online access as well as the available AI tools. This, semicolon, this, because I want to add another clause, like what this will do for us. This will lead to accurate and faster study resources or study, or I could just say study. That's good enough, actually. Let's have a look at our sentence. Students and faculty will be able to research on a plethora of topics given the online access as well as the available AI tools. Semicolon, conclusion. This will lead to accurate and faster study. That's good. And just to make a flow better, I would say this will lead to accurate and an overall faster study. An overall faster study. Let's see. I always want to pick things and place them to see how they sound. Let me see how it sounds now. This will lead to accurate and an overall faster. Let's do an overall. So it's just overall faster study with the right preposition. Although you can say overall, but I don't want to risk it. Just be specific. An overall faster study. There we go. That is specific. Look, this is the point. And the next sentence, this is how or why the point works. We changed the very general things like it'll do this, this, and this to something very specific. This is the exactly one thing that it's going to do. That should be your focus. First major mistake was the bad first impression. The second major mistake was being too general by giving you a laundry list. Let's look at the third major mistake. We're going with the next point that the student made here. Additionally, good connector, nice job. Technology hubs can serve as spaces for virtual events, workshops, and collaborations to the community. Okay, another list again. You can fix that too, but let's keep going. For instance, now why this is better is because the student does have a specific focus. It's more on virtual events and collaboration. So I can see it's like, okay, about social activity. And then you have, for instance, which expands on that idea. So that's nice. It's nicely done. It can be reasonably deduced that libraries offer access to the internet for people who may not have it at home. Look at this. This is the second sentence, okay? And then the third sentence I mean within this new point that we're making. This can be especially important for students who need to do homework or participate in remote learning. In terms of how specific this point is, it's beautiful. I really like it compared to what the student did earlier. This is more specific. It's obviously focused on one point, which is the community and how people can interact together. Fine, and it helps these students who need to do homework. This is not a mistake. This is an opportunity. See this last sentence? This can easily be fitted into this second last sentence. How? By using the word which. And I'll tell you why I'm using this. But first, let me complete this thought. So the last sentence, student says, this can be important for students who need to do homework or participate in remote learning. You can say which can be, actually we'll just link it here, which can be especially important for students who, there you go. What I've done here is made the sentence complex because I've added another clause to it. I'm going to get my marks for my complex sentence. And I'm going to get my mark for range because when you use relative clauses like which, that, when, who, and you connect another idea, you are adding another type of sentence structure, which is not anywhere here. So now you have another structure giving you more range and more marks for that vocab. Good. Now that's not a major mistake, but it is another area of improvement that the student could have worked on. Now, you see how this thing concludes, right? It says, this can be especially. I have fixed it, now it's different. But I also want to show you how the student concluded the last body paragraph, which is the second last paragraph, the same way, this. Now, when you're repeating, you can repeat things twice, that's okay. Like, I mean, you can say, technically you can say this and this. If you say however, twice, that's fine. I'm just giving an example. But it's better, it's way better if you say however one time, then you say nevertheless the next time. You say and one time, then you say furthermore the next time. You say this here, and then here you say consequently, therefore, thereby, any of those, okay? I can't think and talk at the same time, apparently. Consequently, this hands-on experience, and now you have another way of getting into the conclusion. You can also do multiple things here. You can throw a semicolon. You can say this ensures that, just another pattern, but you don't want to use the exact same wordings. So that was mistake number 4. Mistake number 5, and the final mistake, and I wanted to bring this before this one, is because this is a little bit more major, and this is happening right here at the end. The student says in much the same way. Guys, this mistake, I've seen this happen so many times. You all do this. It's a big crime, okay? It says, in much the same way, libraries should consider. Right here, you have lost a lot of your marks. You have lost the trust of the examiner because this is not the question that was asked. There was never a suggestion needed from you. When you're saying this should happen, this is a very natural thing we do in speaking. So we just do this in writing too, like we suggest in social conversations. But this is never asked in task 2. If you're saying this should be the chosen option, that kind of wording is okay. But now you're making a suggestion. How can libraries do better? They should consider having 3D printers and all this stuff. We were not asking for a suggestion. We were asking, look, if libraries have the high-speed internet, that was the topic written in the question, how does that benefit the library or the people? And when you explain that, you say why your chosen option is better. What are the pros if we go with that idea? And the option you didn't choose, the one you're neglecting, explain the negatives of that. This is a pros and cons discussion, not a suggestions discussion. So with that 5th big crime, that is the 5th major mistake happening here, reducing what could have been a really good writing. Steer away from these mistakes in your next CELPIP writing, and if you want a more guaranteed path to improvement to avoid mistakes like these, we detail everything you need to know in our CELPIP 15-hour course that you can check out in the description. It is right now at a huge discount. Please also comment if you need any help or any suggestions. Happy to help. Talk to you soon.